were last talking about Hollywood and society and parties and all of that.
Yeah, well, I've gone from Perrier water to Scotch. How about that shot?
If that was Perrier water.
Indeed it was.
Yeah. Can I ask if drinking's a problem with you? I'll soon find out.
I don't think so, no.
Yeah.
No. I just frighten people because I can drink a great deal at sometimes. And it just frightens them. They all fall down. But, I don't come up shaking, or I don't drink every day or in the morning, or, things like that.
You don't have to. A lot of actors do, don't they?
I don't think so.
They don't?
I don't think so. I mean, there are some that are... When I first started to work, I would work with people whom I thought in totally self-controlled, professional people, and I'd be standing this far from them, and I see that they're like this, just trembling. Jesus. It kind of makes me nervous.
I see that here on this kind of show on this show many times.
Really?
Yeah, and the camera does not pick it up, which sort of ruins the old myth that the camera shows the truth, doesn't it? Because
I worked with Charlie Bickford, and he was just like a taut string, wire all the time. Just
wonder what the difference is between the people who are that way and the ones that aren't, like yourself. I don't see any muscles twitching. I don't seem to...
It's all inside.
Yeah?
Yeah. I die inside.
I'm not making you nervous. I don't overawe you in any sense.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I do?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Was camera on him when he said that? I want that to be clear.
Yes, indeed. No, because I took careful notice before I came out here.
Sized me up during the monologue, did you?
Scared me, man.
No, there was I must get past this, I guess, because this intrigues me. I'm sure you're tired of talking about this, but there was that one time when you were busted out in California in the days when that was a rare phrase, years and years ago, for our younger audience.
I said it wasn't rare.
But you know what I mean, in the statistical sense. And you talked about what happened there, and that there was a sense in which you thought it was a kind of frame-up.
I didn't think so.
Oh, you didn't? I got that impression from an interview I read where they said that there was maybe somebody was out to get you.
That it was, and proved it. But it happened. I couldn't care less.
The lawyers proved it, but you doubted it.
That's right, because later they rescinded the judgment and wiped it off the slate, and I got a letter of apology and all that jazz. They never published that, naturally, because that ain't funny.
Yeah.
But
so it's expunged from the record.
Yeah, but they needed somebody at that time. So. Abu Ben Adam, I came smiling in, Queen of the May.
But you say they needed somebody, so that implies there was some kind of conspiracy.
That's what they told me. They needed somebody at that time.
Who's the they?
It's a long story, really.
Yeah.
Really, yeah. At that time, there was a great deal of friction between the Los Angeles County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, and the City of Los Angeles Department. And there was, sort of an undeclared war, and there was a lack of total cooperation among them. And somebody who wished me not well took advantage of that. And like I say, I was the last person in the world they expected to walk in. I just walked in a house, and 7 minutes later, they broke down the door.
Yeah.
And I just put my hand up like that, said, hang me up. They said Mitchum raised his arm in a threatening gesture. I was just making it easy for him to cuff me, that's all.
If you want to threaten someone, you don't do it like this.
Write them a nasty letter.
Oh, is that what it is? Do you ever get in a fight? Do you often get in a fight? Let me change that.
No.
Fist fight? Have you been in many?
Yeah, a lot.
Is it generally with other actors or people in other walks of life?
Whoever hits me. What can I tell you?
Can you remember the last one?
I think I lost the last one.
Next to the last one?
No, I can't remember that one.
Yeah. I'm fascinated with violence.
Are you really? Terrifies me. I was in Ireland one time, and I was walking grooms at the sort of theatrical pub hotel. And it's a long, narrow place, and I walked in with Richard Harris and his wife then, Elizabeth, and my wife. And we were trying to find, the landlady was trying to find seating room for us, And the little guy came up and plucked me like this and snatched at me. He said, Mr. Douglas. And he snatched me a few times and said, Mr. Douglas, come on. Well, I didn't know who. I'm looking around for Mr. Douglas. So he says, come on, Kirk. He says, we know you.
Kirk.
Well, so I said, he said, could I get your signature? So I said, in the second, I said, I'm trying to get the lady. He said, I insist. He said, no. So I wrote something rude, you know. I signed Kirk Douglas. So he went back in the corner, and he was sitting with 4 girls back there. A little fellow, and unfortunately, he was lame. He was a poster's apprentice. So full of pins, you know. So anyway, he came back, and he said, hey, he said, this is for a girl. And I said, well, I'm truly sorry about that. I said, I had rather hoped it was for you. And I turned away, and when I turned away, he hit me. And he had a ring on it, just scratched my nose. That's all. And then he turned around and ran back with the girls. So I said, are you done now? I said, are you quite finished? And the guy jumped up with a red beard, and he said, I'm not done. And I said, you're done. And he was done. So I said, because if you are, I said, I'd like to suggest that you don't, make a habit of that. Because you're liable to run into a reactor. And I said, you couldn't break an egg. So the landlady said, that's it, everybody out. So I said, that's fine. I said, I come to a green and foreign land, walk in, get hit in the eye, and thrown out. She said, not you, love, So we stayed and had a belt, So I come outside. Richard Harris is haranguing the crowd, that dirty Irish, and you can't get more. He's from Limerick. You can't get more Irish than him. He's screaming at the Irish. Pick him up, throw him in the car. So these 2 guards come along swinging their sticks like this, and he said, would you be after pressing charges, sir? And I said, pressing charges? For what? I said, against whom? He said, against what struck you, sir. I said, it's too funny, Now the poor little guy went back, and he went to all the pubs. He says, and then I give him this, and then I done that, and then but unfortunately, there was about 300 witnesses. And they said, come on, tell us how you did, Well, the poor bum couldn't get a drink in Ireland.
You know what's funny about that? You don't recognize me, do you, Mr. Douglas?
Beautiful.
I'm sorry. We're in a message, and we'll be right back.